Hello and welcome back to Elliott's Forest School. This is Unit 2 of how to cook on a fire. Today we're going to be boiling a cup of tea. So I've made my fire and the fire starts to go down a bit now and the embers are very hot. So what I've done, I've placed 2 sticks at either side of the fire and I've stuck a grill across to keep it a little bit elevated, and I've stuck a kettle onto the fire. That's how it looks. So right now we're waiting for that to boil. Oh, I should have closed the lid. Let me just use my fire glove for that. There we go. And we'll just wait for that to boil. Here I've got just my tea area. Got my tea bag in my cup. A bit of oat milk because I'm vegan, and I have my spoon over on my chopping board, so let's hope this boils sooner rather than later. So just to reiterate, always ensure you've got a bucket of water when you're boiling anything or cooking anything or doing any fire. We've got our first aid kit and our fire blanket over here by where our water is, just in case we need to use that, but hopefully not. And we've got a bucket of water that we can put onto the fire or to cool anybody down, just in case anything happens. And if you're dealing with a very hot fire, you're going to want to make sure you use your fire safety glove, especially if you're dealing with metal. And once you've finished using your kettle, you want to place it onto like a stone or something, so ensure that it doesn't touch anything flammable in an area that's far away from anybody else, or a designated area that children know not to go. Okay, the smoke's just entering my eyes a little bit, so we'll give it a few minutes to see if it boils. Can't actually see what you can see. I'm going to use a cameraman for this job. Okay, so you can't see that much. It's not that interesting. So hopefully it should just be a few minutes, and it's just as simple as that to boil something on the fire. And obviously we know when something boils because it makes bubbles, or in the case of this I think it's called a Kelly kettle, I might be wrong, it will scream, which I love to hear every morning. It makes me feel very calm. So you obviously can boil many things on the fire. Well, you usually only boil water, but you can prepare many foods with boiling water, like casseroles, soups, boiled vegetables, you name it. And I've just put these bricks around because it not only helps to contain the fire if it was to randomly go wild, but it also helps demarcate a designated area where you don't need to enter any closer to the fire. And I've just made this little opening here when people want to add something to the fire in a controlled way. And just to recap, you always use the respect position around the fire, which to demonstrate is... Oh, smoke's in my eyes so bad. It's a very hot day, so I'm wearing this, but you should really wear something a bit more covered. One leg on the floor and one leg up like that, so when you want to place a stick on the fire, there we go. Voila. There Oh, my kettle's starting to make a little bit of noise. Come on. And just place it a bit more over that flame. Quite quick, to be fair. My electric cooker at home takes quite a while to heat up hot water on the stove. Oh, I think it's nearly boiled. Just going to move these bigger pieces a bit more in. Keep the fire hot. If you're impatient like me. So originally I did do an Indian star fire, but it went out, so I took too long faffing about. So I had to start the whole process again. So that's an important thing to remember, to keep feeding the fire. It's not good enough to just leave 3 logs around the fire and just walk off for however long I did. You want to keep it going, keep pushing those logs into the middle of the fire. I feel like I need some safety goggles on for this smoke. For today I've just got some hazel that I'm burning and a few mixed bits of wood. But you can also do this with coal. Hopefully you can hear me actually. Okay. So, it's beginning to boil. Nearly there. 7 minutes. Come on, kettle. Is that good enough? Think that will boil enough for a brew? I reckon so. So, what we're going to do next, we're going to take our kettle off the fire and we'll place it on the stone over here. Can you see that? And here is where we're going to be making our cup of tea. I'm going to keep my fire glove on because I'm a wuss. So here then, oh look at that, a nice hot cup of tea. There's another stone here. So obviously make sure everybody else around the fire is seated. There's not loads of commotion going on around you whilst you're preparing the food. Everything's done in a controlled way. And so after my cup of tea, next I'll be using that water, placing it into a pan and showing you how to steam on the fire. I just remembered I forgot my lid. Okay, so that's 1 cup of tea. I'll dispose of that into the compost. Add some milk. And there we go. And of course I'm going to say cheers. Nothing like a lovely cup of tea, love. So that was Ellese's Forest School Unit 2 of how to boil water on the fire.